Good morning, this is Pixie, doing another video. What I've got here is white gold. This is Ormus that I've made. I showed you before it was in a tub drying out, so now it's all flaked up like this. It's just a case of bit of a pestle, just a little bit of a beating, that's what it needs. Just a gentle beating at the start, just to break it down. If you go too heavy-handed, it just flies straight out. Give it a nice, a nice ribbon. So there's quite a lot there actually. You can easily put it into a container. It's not too. So once it starts flattening, you do a bit more of that, and then conform to the shape of the container. So that's why pretty much it's going like that. It's not going an angle, so it's firing off bits. I'm following it around the curve. Just a little tap. You can grind down things. There's different techniques for using pestles, basically, which you think, just to grind it, but you realise that some things you end up going grind at the bottom, or you batter it, you break its shell or something, depending on what it is. There may be some other things I've grind up and add into my mixtures. Possibly, you can see it all right. Things like eggshell, because there's a lot of iron and calcium in eggshells. And think of how many you throw away. So if you just collected those, wash them, and then, hey presto, nice camera long. It takes a little while, and I mean obviously you wouldn't be like doing it like this, sort of tapping away. You'd be more in your lap. Because all gets your stomach like that, right? Because your arms would ache like buggery after a while. And also, if you're making for Ormus, you want it kind of quite thin. You don't want it all chunky and or something like say. That's not Ormus. What is that? There's other things you can do as well. You might want to make a small batch infused with something completely different, with herbs and spices in it during the wet method, and as a result you'll have it infused in the actual Ormus. And then when you do the process of drying it out, you can add it then into here. See, the problem is with if you use, because this has got a strong amount of Epsom salts and stuff in it, so it's fine. I've made a kind of the right mix. But if you're using something like Himalayan salt, it's got a lot of sodium in it and other things, sodium chloride and so on. You'll find you'll be washing it quite a bit to get reduce the taste of the salt, because a lot of people can get a bit funny about salt, because they're into the urban myths of if you have loads of salt, blood pressure's going to go through the roof and things like that. It's actually, if you don't have any magnesium with it and other things, minerals, if people's blood pressure goes through the roof, it's an indication of other problems internally. The salt may be just highlighting the fact it can thicken your blood, but your blood is slightly salty anyway. It's basically, when you sweat, where do you think them salts come from? I mean, you've got a lymphatic system, but it's also coming from your body's plasma as well, because your skin's a big organ, so it feeds from your blood like everything else does. So now I'm compacting it there. You don't have to go too mad on it, but you kind of of gauge how hard you can hit it. So a little bit of so the other technique is I'm pushing it into the middle, and then you can grind it in a bit. But as you grind in, you'll actually project it up the sides. That's why you don't do too much. It's only if you you're dealing with, depends what you're dealing with when you're grinding up, basically. That's one of the key things. Just know what you're grinding. Because some things are quite easily grind, other things you go and you can get out of the bowl and all sorts. You don't want to do that. Important to clean your pestle between things you create, because otherwise you'll contaminate one sample with another and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter for almost so much, but depending if you've got anything particular added to it. Like I may have one where I've had a small amount of borax. I just need to figure out the average dose people take and then divide it by the quantity of Ormus and figure out that ratio and then give it a fire mix. And that should be fine. It's not bad. It's not going to be too bad for anyone. But then just, like I say, always grind it in as well and produce. Because if the borax is quite a thick powder, then you want to reduce that down a bit so it's well mixed in there. Otherwise, what you could have is you'd have a chunk of borax in one place within a bottle, and then they take all of it at once, and you don't want that effect. It's looking good, man. It's looking good. And you can always, for like this, you can just break that up into a container and experiment with it. I mean, it may be like, I want to put cocoa with it or something, give it a little bit of a flavour. And also flavour things that are natural, healthy, and good for people. So I'm not putting anything sort of unnatural or toxic or strange in it. I mean, I might do some interesting experiments. I've got a plan. Possibly might create a Red Bull Ormus, which would be quite an interesting thing. I'll use mainly Epsom salts and then basically add the Red Bull in the mixture, because Red Bull has, I looked at the ingredients, probably most, it's probably one of the best energy drinks on the market, because it doesn't have all loads of sweetness in it, and aspartame or whatever, and using all these sort of bizarre things, they're not that good for you. I think it's give you diabetes. Depending on your biology, of course, but I did hear something about somebody was having Monster energy drinks, and I like Monster. I'm not saying I criticise the brand particularly, but for this particular person, I think he drank them every day, or drank them quite regularly, and then sort of 6 months down the line or so on, he developed diabetes. It could be that he'd had an imbalance in his diet anyway, and that his body's craving for sugar and he's giving it sweetness, so he's feeding the problem. So by no means is it a criticism to the company, it's just that when I read the back of Red Bull, you've got things like glucose and other things in there, but there's not, I don't see lots of unnatural ingredients. People have a big fear of sugar, and that's another myth as well. I mean, like for me, for example, I've got a sweet tooth, but I've also got an underactive thyroid, so sometimes just boosts the energy that way. But I don't eat all the time. I don't eat as much as people think. I might have 2 meals a day or something like that. There's some people that eat quite regularly, skinny as anything, because their metabolism is different. Recently I've been doing intermittent fasting, and basically what you do there is you just basically just cut out your breakfast. That's really the best thing, or just reduce what that is. So I mean, I have had a Red Bull, but what it is, I went in the morning, I just worked up to a point, you know, like 11 o'clock or something like that, and then I had one. That's all I had is liquid. So my body hasn't had loads of stuff to process the caffeine and B12 and also the vitamins, magnesium and stuff in it. It won't allow for my body to say put on loads of weight. But if you overload your body with complicated carbohydrates and proteins and other things, it takes a lot longer for your body to break it down. So what you want to do is get your metabolism at a critical point. There's loads of stuff. There's something like 6-pack abs or something like that. I've considered loads of these things on YouTube, and it seems pretty good stuff. So that's what I've sort of been inspired by. So work that chat. So have a look at this powder. It's not bad now. Yeah. See, when you get to a finer powder, you need to start lightly tapping it, because what happens is, like talcum powder, you'll get a puff. So you're actually some of the stuff's just coming out of the air. But that means it's fine powder, which is a good thing. So yeah, with every bit of Ormus I make, there's always a bit of nothing here. No, I mean, I did make a batch in the past, and I did a no wash method to it, and it was strong in salt, but it wasn't bad for somebody. I mean, it's no salt until you get from the fish and chip shop with salt in your chips. However, the woman who bought it didn't like the salt ratio in it, and sort of slated me slightly for making this batch. I did say it was salty. I didn't hide from that, and it wasn't bad for her. She just, I don't know, maybe she just thought she would have drink loads of it and it wouldn't taste like anything. So, I mean, I have made things that don't taste like anything. It's a bit like someone complaining it tastes too chalky. It's got this mineral, what do you expect it to taste like? Well, you can't please everyone, but it's a learning curve though, see. So what I did is I started sampling, made sure I sampled more of what I created, and if it was too salty, you know, I'd have to ask myself, would I be buying this stuff? And what would I like in it? And the other thing, from the sales side of things, business side of things, like I might think it's great to stick a bit of borax and some other things in it, but if it doesn't sell, it was a point of time someone might read that and think, bloody hell, I'm not that stuff. It's a little bit too extreme for my liking. Yeah, you might have to pitch the sales stuff, and you've got to be original. Otherwise you're just basically peddling what everyone else is peddling. It's not really great, really. Because it's another thing where if you're kind of creating an alternative market, you don't want to become corporatised in this, where everything's standardised and produced in a particular way. Which is lovely. Real good stuff in it. And of course, in powdered form, it could last. There's no issue; it lasts forever. To us, no, nothing problematic about it, because it's very oxygenated, and you're not going to get harmful bacteria living I did have something, a sample that I created, and it had some form of penicillin in it, but it wasn't a harmful one. It just had this slight taste. It was a bit weird about it, and yeah, because all I had was I used citric acid to neutralise the alkaline level of it, and it did have different minerals in it, but it didn't really have any protein in it. So what this particular bacteria was doing, the citric acid created the environment for it to live in, and it was just processing the minerals. It was breaking the minerals down further. So it wasn't bad in that sense. However, I don't know what it would do if you had lots in your system. So what did I do eventually? I might have dried it up, or I did something. I probably put it back into a burn process or something. So I added it to another sample. So once I've made the sample, I put that in there as well, the hydroxide, and the heat of it will just pick it all up. Other things I've been doing today is I've been taking in the hydrogen peroxide, and so I've added that to water. And I've had a plant that looks a bit knackered. It said it wants filtered. Basically, it wants for good drainage, but it likes water, a lot of water. And I've planted in some peat soil, but it might be actually becomes too boggy. So what I've done is I've added my hydrogen peroxide and borax in the water. So I've been drinking some stuff out of this pint glass here, so that's got it in it. You can taste like Milton taste, so that's got about, originally the pint was right up at about 2.5 millilitres of hydrogen peroxide, and then I added a small amount of borax to it, just stirred it up. I was trying to remember where I've tasted this taste before, and I know it was when I got some iodine from InfoWars, and what they do is it had that strong taste in it, but it was really strong, so it was all burning your tongue. So I don't know if I've actually taken iodine. I was just taking a pure hydrogen peroxide from InfoWars. All you had to do is you had to take. We might have had it in there as well. I'm not criticising that. It's just that taste was strongly there. I'd have to check the ingredients on the store. But if it's not mentioned about hydrogen peroxide, then it'd be very strange if the iodine and that would taste the same as each other. Yeah, because I was trying to figure it out. I thought I've had this taste before. And maybe I just didn't read it well enough. But what it was, the advice was that you put it on your tongue for so many seconds and then you just down some water. And that was for the something like something Shield Plus or something on InfoWars. I mean, I did have good vitamins and stuff from them, but there was like a massive shipping cost that whacked on it. It was like an extra £10–20 on what I ordered, which was ridiculous. It's obviously some sort of state control shit. Because most things you can get from the States is not going to cost you that much. There we go, there's the stuff, man. It's the real deal. That's very careful to kick it over that bit. But I've got some other stuff like crate as well. See, this is a fizzy type, and I've added citric acid, sorbic acid. It's got some bicarbonate soda in it. When they're mixed together, they create something else. Sodium citrate or something like that. which is like sherbet. And then you've also got the Ormus Powder, and it's Epsom with Himalayan and some other ones that I built up, and I just basically maybe dried it up, mixed it, mashed it together. So it's got quite a pleasant taste to it. It's quite, but the also the baking soda is what would have been good for you, or bicarbonate soda. It basically does kind of neutralises some of the tastes. Otherwise, the azobic acid could be quite overpowering, like that. Yeah, so that's 150 millilitres of bottle. Probably can't see this chap actually, so I probably won't worry about him. He still needs to be worked on. Is there anything else? Some other experiments? No, that's about it really. So anyway, have a great day, and I will speak to you soon.